The boy never imagined his first job would be looking after a bunch of little kids. The children all hid when they saw a stranger, thinking Ryuichi was an outsider trying to take them. Luckily, Koro woke up teacher Usagita, clearing up the misunderstanding. Seeing them laugh and talk together, the children quickly relaxed. They were all very polite. Ryuichi set down Kotaro and encouraged him to say hello to everyone.
Yoshi! Omae kaiju-yakkuna! Kaiju chibi-gon ga deta jo!
Seeing the kids charge fiercely toward him, Ryuichi quickly stepped in front of his little brother, volunteering to play the monster instead. With someone willingly taking the villain role, the children all piled onto him at once. Kotaro saw his brother being attacked and wanted to rescue him, but each attempt ended with him bouncing back. Ryuichi told him not to worry and sent Kotaro off to play somewhere else. Obediently, Kotaro walked over to the bookshelf and started reading a picture book. Meanwhile, Usagita had already finished her shift, leaving Ryuichi to manage alone. But the kids were a handful, each more energetic than the last. Rin wanted to play house. Without waiting for Ryuichi's answer, she dragged Midori off to eat a big meal. The next moment, while the twins were chasing each other, they not only ruined Rin's pretend meal, but little Kazuma also tripped and fell. Ryuichi was terrified. Fortunately, his brother knew a little magic. Meanwhile, Rin was on the verge of tears again. Ryuichi quickly asked her to cook another meal. Right after comforting Rin, baby Midori started crying. Ryuichi was running in all directions. Only Kotaro stayed quiet, not crying or fussing.
Kotaro, 大丈夫か?
When the mothers came to pick up their children that evening, Ryuichi finally had time to check on his brother. To his shock, Kotaro had suddenly fallen ill. It looked like a fever. Thankfully, a friend was nearby. Following Hayato's directions, Ryuichi rushed to the nearest clinic. The doctor said it wasn't serious, just a fever brought on by stress. He'll recover after some sleep. Only after hearing his brother would be okay did Ryuichi finally let out a sigh of relief. He wanted to tell his parents the good news, but when he took out his phone, it hit him. Mom and Dad were gone.
そうだ。もうどんな時に呼んだって帰ってきてなんかくれないんだった。
Now all he had left was his little brother, Kotaro. Then the school director arrived just in time.
ようやく泣きべそかけたのかい。
The director had noticed that among all the children who lost family in the plane accident, these two brothers were the only ones who hadn't cried. She told Ryuichi, I know you both like to act strong, but when you're sad, you should cry. That's how I'll know when you need my help. Back at the clinic, Kotaro was crying too. The two brothers were so alike, always hiding their sadness deep inside. Kotaro, who hadn't made a sound even with a fever, cried loudly when he opened his eyes and couldn't see his brother. Perhaps he was afraid that his only family might not be there for him too.
It was the boy's first day at school, yet he found himself surrounded by a crowd. Then he noticed a group of little kids following behind him. It turned out Kotaro missed his brother so much that the children brought him over. They all clamored to play with Ryuichi. He gently tried to calm them down, but it had no effect. Seeing this, Hayato raised his fist.
黙れ。神谷、幼児相手に凄むのやめて。
Tsubasa ran out crying and bumped into Inomata, the top student in their grade. She was academically brilliant but cold in demeanor. She scolded Ryuichi for causing trouble in the middle school section. The kids were so scared they started wailing. Ryuichi quickly asked Hayato for help to take the children back to the nursery. Kotaro, feeling guilty for causing trouble because he wanted to see his brother, felt guilty and looked downcast. Ryuichi hurried to comfort him. Just then, Inomata also arrived at the nursery to deliver the lunchbox Tsubasa had forgotten. On behalf of Teacher Wolf, Teacher Usagita checked his phone, and just as Inomata was about to leave, he suddenly clutched his stomach in pain. He immediately had Hayato take him to the infirmary and asked the girl to stay and watch the children temporarily. Though Inomata was unwilling, she couldn't just leave irresponsibly, but the children all hid fearfully behind Ryuichi. When Inomata tried to help by holding baby Midori, she was so nervous she spoke too loudly, making Midori burst into tears.
大丈夫だよ、みどりちゃん。
あれもダメ。もうやれちまじゃ。退治してやる。やろう。
誰が悪者よ。
The children instantly shrank back, intimidated. Inomata was hurt by being disliked by the kids. Ryuichi urged the children to apologize to her, but Inomata said they didn't have to force it. She had assumed Ryuichi was taking care of the kids out of obligation, but he smiled and said he was genuinely happy spending time with them. That broke Inomata completely. She frantically started throwing plush toys at Ryuichi. She was envious that he was so loved by the children, while she was only met with fear and could only bury herself in studying. Inomata couldn't hold back her tears anymore. Unexpectedly, the little angels all gathered around her.
お姉ちゃま、泣かないでください。ごめんなさい。
何よ、どうしてあなたたちまで泣いてるのよ。
Inomata's tears began to flow uncontrollably. After crying herself to exhaustion, she fell asleep surrounded by the children.
小太郎、お前そんな服着といて本物の虎見たことないのかよ、だっし。
Just a moment ago, Ryuichi noticed Kotaro staring at his shirt. Rin's timely appearance helped him understand why, but Tsubasa didn't think he'd done anything wrong. Hayato simply knocked him on the head with his fist. Though Tsubasa's eyes welled up with tears, Hayato was completely unfazed by his little brother's reaction.
うるせえから先に連れて帰るわ。
Ryuichi also found Kotaro and promised to take him to the zoo over the weekend. The other kids overheard and wanted to join too. That's when Usagita suggested organizing a field trip with all the parents along. That way, he could relax a bit and still get overtime pay. Early Sunday morning, Hayato brought Tsubasa along as well, but Tsubasa refused to stick with his brother. Ryuichi tried to get Hayato to say something nice.
いや、だから別に好きじゃねえし。
Tsubasa's heart was pierced once again by his brother's words, but he decided he could still have fun playing with everyone on his own. Finally, the zoo trip began. Usagita dutifully took pictures of each little one with the animal they'd most wanted to see. Soon, they reached the tiger exhibit that Kotaro had been waiting for. The younger kids scrambled to find their moms, scared. Only Kotaro stood perfectly still. Turns out, he was frozen in fear.
本物の虎全然怖くなかったな。
Before long, it was lunchtime. Everyone was happily eating, except Tsubasa, who seemed distracted. He stood in front of a display of bird souvenirs. Usagita offered to buy one as a gift for his brother, but Tsubasa stubbornly insisted he didn't need it. Just then, Tsubasa thought he spotted his brother in the distance and ran off after the figure. But when he got closer, he realized it was just a stranger. Tsubasa's face instantly paled. The zoo's closing announcement began to play. Seeing the empty surroundings, he panicked and started running, only to trip and fall in his hurry.
なんだよ。男が迷子になったくらいで泣くな。
Right then, Ryuichi arrived carrying Kotaro. Hayato gave his brother a light punch and told him to apologize. Tsubasa didn't complain about it this time. On a freezing winter day, the students were wearing short sleeves for PE class. Just then, Usagita came out for a walk, pulling a wagon full of natural hand warmers. The little ones hopped off and immediately made a beeline for Ryuichi, clustering around him tightly. Usagita couldn't help teasing them. The kids were just like little animals. We're not animals!
うさぎのバカ！
Not one to back down, Usagita started scaring the little ones. If they didn't behave, a strange man would take them away, lock them somewhere dark, and eat them up. The kids instantly trembled in fear. Meanwhile, the other students, shivering from the cold, spotted the group of little ones around Ryuichi and got excited. And so, the chase for the human hand warmers began. Tsubasa sprinted off to find his brother for help, but Kazuma got scooped up from behind. Rin hid behind Usagita, shaking. She never knew these older boys could be so scary. Takuma was so frightened he dove into a bush. Then, a suspicious figure wearing sunglasses picked Takuma up. Ryuichi rushed over in alarm, and Hayato even threw a shoe at the stranger. Hit by the shoe, the suspicious person fainted. It turned out to be Takuma and Kazuma's father, a famous actor currently. Too bad, Ryuichi and Hayato had no idea who he was. He'd disguised himself to avoid causing a scene, but didn't expect things to go so wrong. When Ryuichi asked why he'd suddenly come to the school, Kosuke's eyes welled up with tears. It turned out that because of work, he hadn't had a day off in 6 months. Not only that, even when he did return home, the twins would rather go to the childcare center. Hearing this, Ryuichi called the twins over and urged them to spend time with their dad. But the moment Kazuma was picked up by his father, his eyes filled with tears too.
やっぱり僕は帰ります。待ってください。
This might be the fastest Kotaro has ever reacted. Usagita stretched out his hands, asking the little ones for a protection fee. Yet Kotaro immediately placed his small hand on top. It turned out today was Valentine's Day, and Usagita wanted the kids to hand over the gifts their moms had prepared for them.
どうもないよ。です。ない。
Not a single mother had made any preparations. Meanwhile, the students were discussing Valentine's chocolates. Even though school rules banned giving and receiving them, students still exchanged chocolates in secret. The one who received the most was Yamakawa, the most popular guy in Class A. Inomata, the top student in their grade, couldn't stand everyone openly breaking the rules and got into an argument with the girls giving out chocolates. Yamakawa reasonably pointed out that they were indeed violating the school policy. He easily smoothed things over between both sides. He then asked Inomata about the childcare club's recruitment, expressing his own wish to join. Even though Inomata had seen the club's recruitment banner, she claimed she didn't know about it and ran off somewhat upset. Deep down, down. She knew her inflexible personality made her unfit for the childcare club. Afraid of being disliked by the children, she envied Yamakawa for being able to join. Sure enough, Yamakawa showed up at the childcare club hoping to become a member. Ryuichi excitedly introduced the kids to him. Right away, Yamakawa won everyone over, praising each child warmly. However, Inomata overheard some concerning rumors about Yamakawa. People had seen him staring at the kids with a creepy look. Sensing something was wrong, Inomata rushed to the childcare room. To her surprise, Yamakawa had just poked Kotaro's cheek once and started bleeding from his nose. Just then, Yamakawa's friend also arrived at the childcare room to stop him from joining the club. The reason? Yamakawa was a pedophile. Ryuichi quickly moved the kids aside. Though Yamakawa tried to explain the nosebleed was from eating too much chocolate, he had actually returned all the chocolates he received. His friend promptly dragged Yamakawa away. Reluctantly, he had to give up on joining the club, but he still wished he could come by occasionally to poke the kids' cheeks.
たまにならいいんじゃない？面白いし。